I'll have the mayor sign it, and then you don't have to, I don't have to forget to do it tomorrow, you don't have to remember to ask me.
Get you all fancy and your this and that.
Okay, you know what?
We got all kinds of stuff going on here. I have my picture here, do I? This is what happens when you ask your teenage son to fertilize the lawn.
Do you need all the junk with it? All the see attached? Okay, I'll just make myself a note to send you one.
It does say poop.
Can I just stamp them?
Okay, we're gonna do a cheers. Rob!
What's up, everybody?
Was that supposed to be a wave?
That was really
Well, no, because
impressive.
remember how when Norm used to walk into the bar?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
So-
this was only a bar.
Dare to
What is
dream.
this?
That was very impressive.
I feel like your recall of it?
That's my recall.
I wish your dad were here. I would ask his recall of it.
Shoot.
Well, I have
Oh, it's all
new
right.
ones.
You got the warmers?
see.
There's the
And they've
warmers
got
on
all
all
thing
the.
here, but
Aussie, that's
they're
really
off.
bad.
It's
All right.
like
I
my
am,
mom's.
Susan,
Here.
I am on the Wi-Fi. I
Point
don't wanna
out.
share my
Okay, do you know which Wi-Fi it is?
She thought our
That only helps here, and the next thing you know, you're getting third-degree burns on your hand.
That's a good one.
Did you get in?
Yeah,
BOM guest.
Got in.
you got it. That's
Yeah.
the right one.
Oh,
shit,
I'm
I guess I
connected.
should
It connected.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes,
Any,
thank you.
Marcy, anything from Leah? All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Sure.
Let's call to order, 5:35. On roll call, Mr. Bartlett,
Here.
Mrs. Brown Knight,
Here,
we know Mrs. Gelbaugh is not here, Dr. Lewis,
Here.
Mrs. Rankin,
Here.
Mr. York.
Here.
All right, Tony, you wanna lead us off?
Yes, all right, thanks for coming early tonight. First meeting of the year. Something we've typically been doing the last several years is talking about our capital improvement budget or permanent improvement budget for the entire year. So I've asked all the department heads to submit their requests, and they have. So as you can see at the bottom, we're over appropriated, overspend if everybody gets what they want. So we're gonna have to maybe slash some stuff here. We'll talk about what we wanna keep, what we don't wanna keep, and go from there. So we'll start at the top of this little spreadsheet here that you have in front of you. So we ended last year with $90,000. And we get from our two levies about $400,000. So that brings us up to 485, and then we have some items that we take right off the top, which is the bond for this building and ambulance. Those two will go through the first half of 2024. Ambulance is one payment a year, about 50 grand, and the building is two payments of about 50 grand each in the first and second half of the year. But those will be ending in May of 2024.
They both end in the same year, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it leaves us with 335 this year. All right, we'll start with Chief Hines and the Police Department. As usual, he's asking for an automobile with all the equipment and some tasers. So, Chief, we skipped, what, a couple years ago, not getting a car, but we did last year, right?
Yeah, and as we know, typically we try to get one every year because that way we don't have, hopefully, a lot of maintenance. So it keeps the oldest cars generally 5 or 6 years old when it goes out of fleet. So, yeah, we're due. We definitely, we got a 2017 Explorer. It has over 100,000 miles on it right now, so we need to.
What kind of trade-in do you think we can get on that? I put $5
I think
grand on
it'll be, I think it'll be better than, you know, looks like allowed for $5 grand. I think it'll be a little better than that, because even though it has a high miles, I mean, the used cars are through the roof right now, so.
Yeah.
Chief, I have a question for you. I know that one of our cruisers was significantly damaged in that high-speed chase.
Yes.
What year was that one in?
That
Well,
one
insurance, was that totaled?
I think that one was, 16 or an 18, one of the two.
16.
Yeah, and it,
Was it totaled?
Yeah.
No, I
They didn't total it?
was hoping they would total it, but they didn't. It had about $8,500 worth of damage on it. And, I think because the cars are, the way the market is right now, I think normally it probably would have totaled with $8,500 damage, but they didn't. They fixed it, and it should come back to us here this
Thank
week.
you. That's much better.
But
Thank
insurance
you.
did cover that, minus
Thank you.
whatever our deductible was.
That was damaged in a high-speed chase, where our car got damaged, and Newtown had one total also.
That's too bad we couldn't have capitalized on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't gonna get anything from the guy we were chasing. He just got out of prison and was wanted for felonies up north,
He
so.
was an uninsured driver?
He didn't have any license, he was driving stolen truck.
Shocking,
Stole
shocking,
from Barkley
shocking.
up
It didn't
north.
have full
Yeah, I don't
coverage.
think we get anything out of that. Yeah, the insurance take care of it.
What's the typical R&R kind of schedule for vehicles?
We, as far as replacing them, we buy one new one every year.
Every year, but
Yeah,
every 5 years that
The
you were,
last 5 years then, is that the rotation?
They usually
What's
last
the
about
rotation?
5 years in the rotation.
Okay.
And then
Thank
obviously
you.
the one with the most wear on it's the one that gets.
makes sense, okay.
And what we've done a couple of years ago, instead of trading it, we sent it over to the fire department, and they used it for, like, to run and check hydrants and go, to the store and stuff like that. But, it's something that, we'll evaluate each year. This year, I'm sure we'll probably do a trade-in this year. But yes, Ms. Brown, we usually do, we do one every year. That seems to have traditionally worked best in the police department fleet as far as keeping the cars where they
Need to be,
hopefully don't cost us a bunch of money in maintenance.
okay.
We have 6 cars, is that right? Is that why it's every 5 years?
We have
Plus yours?
5 marked cars plus mine, plus the detective car, court car, which those 2 are unmarked cars. Yep. So there's 7 in the fleet.
Okay, also in the past, we've taken some money to purchase these cars from the Enforcement and Education Fund, but I know this year we want to use that for the Nixle cost, is that correct?
Yeah, we, 2 years ago, I think we bought our car completely out of that fund, and then we split it another year. I don't know if it was last year or what.
Yeah, I think it
but
was last year.
I don't think we're really in a spot to do that this year. I think we're gonna have to purchase the car out of the Permanent Improvements Fund this year. Next year, maybe we can do some sharing again. Yep.
Okay. And 6 tasers, or no, 5 new tasers?
5.
Those last 3-4 years, or?
Well, the tasers, actually, usually get about 5 years out of the tasers. And the tasers that we have, they still have a little bit of life in them, but, they're at the point to where it's like anything else. They come out with new models, and then when they, malfunction or you need something fixed, then they don't have the parts to fix them,
They don't
so,
have any trade-in value or anything?
no.
You can't sell them to like somebody's fun house?
Yeah, so they can dry stun people.
Chief, it was the Enforcement and Education was the one we used it out at for the cars?
I think it was, I think it was the Traffic Enforcement and Education Fund.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we're only at 30,000 right now, so.
Right, yeah, and we've been using a lot of that for the new,
Nixles? Is it
well,
Nixle?
no, it's not Nixle, it's the Baldwin.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
it.
because we have a yearly fee, and so I think we're gonna pay out of that.
Mhm.
That's why it's not on the Department of Improvements list.
Yeah. I always get, because there's the computer fund, because I thought we were paying for some of the stuff out of the computer fund also.
We did, that big amount for the Baldwin up front.
Okay, that was the,
Yeah.
there.
And then now we've got a fee, yearly fee going forward with that.
Right. And so now we're gonna use the education
I
enforcement.
think that's what we talked
Mhm.
about, let me, Tony.
Yes.
And then if the computer fund gets built back up again, maybe we can
Correct.
switch
The
back.
computer fund, I think it's $10 of each traffic citation that's written, it goes into that computer fund.
Yeah.
Moving violation, now like, a parking ticket or an expired tag type thing, that's not a moving violation, so there's not a $10. It's any moving violation goes into the traffic
Okay.
enforcement, or into the mayor's court fund.
Yeah.
And that helps to offset, expenses for the mayor's court and computers and stuff like that that we need for the mayor's court.
Right. Yeah, it has to be used for that stuff. I mean, it's gotta be.
Yeah.
Okay, got it, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, usually you ask for like a sidearm and some bullets, but you guys got
Yeah, we're
plenty,
good.
you're good on that?
We just replaced our duty weapons, was that 2 years ago, I think, so we're good for.
Okay,
I
good.
don't think I have that on there until 2026.
Yep, okay. All right, what do we say, guys?
Well, I think we should go through all this stuff
Okay,
probably first.
okay.
Because it would be good to hear
Yeah,
everybody's.
yeah, true. All right, Chief, I guess we'll stick with you here then, on the turnout gear and equipment.
I thought he was coming up, maybe he get tied up, but the only thing in the fire department is the annual turnout gear that gets replaced, 5 sets of turnout gear each year, so that we don't all expire at the same time. For the new people on council, several years ago, I had to come up here and ask for $150,000 that wasn't budgeted for, because we found out that a lot of the turnout gear in the fire department guys were wearing it and it was expired. That was the first year that I took over administering the fire department. It's like that was a big shock. So that wasn't a fun day to come up and say, hey, got a news flash, but pay me now or pay me later. When you got a situation like that, heaven forbid a firefighter gets injured or killed and their duty, their stuff's expired, well, that's a check that we can't cover, so liability wise. So what we've done after that is every year we have replaced 5 sets of turnout gear so that it never expires again, and we don't get hit with that one-time fee of having to replace 20, 25 sets of turnout gear.
So is the turnout gear just what they're putting on?
The fire gear, yeah,
So-
the pants, the boots,
Boots, helmet, everything?
Yeah, from their feet to the top of their head.
It's all hanging downstairs.
Yep.
We keep it aerated.
So that's it for the fire department. We don't have any other needs in the fire department this year other than the turnout gear maintenance.
Chief,
All right.
I want to thank you for sending out the multiple year, because that's really helpful to see the multi-year thing. I know Tony's been trying to move everyone to that, so that's to see what's coming.
Yeah, I think
Plan around that.
I think we sent out 10 years for the fire and the police.
Yep, so appreciate that. I want to thank you for that.
Sure.
All right, thanks, Chief. All right, John, you ready?
Yeah. So the trees, well, so we needed $65,000, that was what we were talking about, was for that land improvements, not for the permanent improvements. So if we could put like 5 in for the permanent improvement, if we still work with MPM, they do another 5, that'd be $10,000 for trees, so that's a lot of trees.
Okay, so the
And since we're not
60
getting
should
that-
go on the operating
Since we're not
side.
getting that grant, we can cut that back, because that was, some of the money was allowed for that grant, that would to cover the cost of the partial of that.
All right, so we can bump the trees down, you said 5?
Yeah, I'd say 5.
Okay,
5,000?
down to 5, so we're taking
Down
out
5.
60.
Okay,
Taking off
okay.
60.
That gives you your 60 back out of there.
Okay.
Yep, I'm gonna recalculate here.
Cool.
Okay, so down to 82.8 deficit.
So the sewer work, I know at least minimum 15. I've got 25 in because there's a couple other sewers that we're looking at. But I wanted to get a 5, maybe if I got with Chris, depending on the street rehab, some of the sewers we might be able to filter that in or something, maybe better cost with that.
I talked to Chris earlier today, and we're gonna get a public works meeting set up for next week. So if we can look at maybe the latter part of next week to kind of do a reset and talk about all the stuff we had on the docket.
All right, so you're saying keep
So
it,
maybe take 10 out of that, leave it down to 15.
drop it down to 15. All right. And then this truck, we had one in there last year for like 86 or 87. You said add 20 to it.
Yeah, so, when I looked around last year, they're all 95 to 110,000. So we're not gonna go with diesel this year, we're gonna try to stick with the gas. So,
So the truck is gonna cost 100, how much is the truck gonna cost?
yeah, that's fully dressed, that's with the plows and everything,
Okay,
so it'd be about 110.
okay. And then let me make a comment about the boathouse leagues. I met with Steve Sutton of Imbus Roofing, who is the company that did the reset of that roof about 25 plus, well, not quite 25 years, but close to 25 years ago. And there is substantial damage to that roof. It's a stone roof, and we think that a lot of the damage may be because children are climbing on the roof and breaking some of the stuff. It's very easy to get up there. So I haven't got the quote back or the bid back. He's trying to source, material, to do repairs. But I do know that it's going to be somewhat substantial, I would imagine. A lot of labor, sourcing the materials is problematic. So I've got a couple of different options here of how we might pay for this, but I was going to kind of wait until I got the bid back, but.
Okay.
Because, yeah, it'd be nice if there's any kind of grant money we could get to help cover part of the cost. Not all of it, obviously, but just some of it would be great if we could have something like that.
How long did the prior roof last?
Well, the prior was the original roof,
Right.
so I mean, it probably lasted about 75 years, I would
And
guess.
did kids not play on that roof?
They may have.
They were different kind of kids.
Yeah.
They were
But
lighter.
they were later.
They're rougher now.
They were more careful kids.
So are we certain it is the kid issue?
Well,
I guess is really the
Yeah,
question.
we catch them every once in a while climbing up.
Yeah.
I mean, kids have been seen doing it, not only by the
Okay.
maintenance department, but I think even Chief said occasionally some of our deputies see it. Now, I do think,
Deputies.
well, we don't have any deputies.
Wow.
Sorry. Yeah, police
Ouch.
officers.
Bite your tongue.
Dang.
Sorry. We may want to consider signage of some kind, with, recommending that you stay off the roof, or there could be a substantial fine. And then there was also talk about, some of these trail cameras that you can get that you mount up in a tree. They're motion activated. I think they work on batteries, that you might be able to,
Put some cameras in place.
apprehend some of these little criminals.
At least make them think twice about doing it.
Well, but also,
Well, they can get hurt, too.
well, yeah, they can get hurt too. Well, if they fall off the back, they're not really going to get hurt. But if they decide to go up and over, then it could get dicey, kind of a
But,
thing.
I mean, we're, just levity aside, I'm not, I mean, are we seriously saying that the kids are lighter? Or they were lighter, and, why did one roof last 75 years and this one last
Well, this one
5?
was done, it was redone during the 75th, so it was only done 25 years ago.
Yeah.
I say only.
Yeah.
They're supposed to last 100 years.
Right, so that's, I guess, my inquiry is,
Well,
I mean, maybe it is the difference. It just feels like that would have been a constant, and it might be the roof.
Well, the
as an
roof
issue.
is nowhere near the end of its life. I mean, the
Yeah.
damage that's done there is either, I mean, it could be other things. I mean, it could be, twigs or branches falling down as well. I mean, there are heavy trees directly behind there. It's because of the kind of roof that it is, it's subject to freeze thaw,
Yeah.
and a little eruption, with that kind of a motion, but
But is it just on the backside?
no, it's some on the front side too.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
so it could
But
be, because, yeah, okay.
the damage on the front side is not as big as the damage on the back side.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there like water damage in the eaves of the
Well, no,
roof too,
that's-
and that kind of thing, or
Now,
not?
I have not checked.
we haven't done a thorough inspection inside.
Because I thought they had a membrane or something underneath.
They do.
The rocks.
They do have well, it's not a membrane, it's like rolled roofing that's underneath,
Yeah.
the old asphalt.
Rubber type.
No, it's not rubber, 'cause
It's like that.
asphalt.
Yeah.
So
So-
I gotta see, because we have some crates down at the shop down below the storage that might have some rocks up there with 99,000.
Okay.
It was under my lens.
I'm just saying the repair could easily run well into the thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
for sure.
And so,
And
Just-
no like manufactured stone that might be.
No, I believe they got this stuff from Wales, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, actually, it's a combination. Some of the stuff, they repurpose, but believe it or not, he's outsourcing material right now from a guy out in Loveland, that has a creek. And the guy goes down into the creek and gets the stone. Now, you can use stone, and you can also mix in certain slate can be mixed in as well. So,
Okay.
which is available.
I guess. if
Nothing
it's-
about it's
right,
cheap.
Right, I was gonna say, just to get maybe a third party telling us what that is causing the damage and confirming what we suspect is the case before we invest in that, it might be, I mean, I'm not trying to add more work, I apologize. It just feels like it's so expensive that we should know for sure why the previous roof lasted 75 years and this one lasted 25 years.
Well, the previous roof was, you say it lasted, I mean, it was up there, it was leaking.
It was leaking, okay, so perhaps it's in a similar state, okay. So, all right,
All right, so how much do you want to put in there as a placeholder, just?
You know, I hate to venture a guess, but I mean, I would say it could run anywhere from, you know, $7,500, $10,000. I mean, this could be expensive.
Okay, we'll just say 10 then. We'll
All
go
right,
high.
yeah, work down.
All right, that's it, John, and I guess we can roll into the swim pool. You told me the leak, you got a bid there for about 54,000.
Right, now that's to do 130 feet of a 6-inch pipe, which would be the 2 drains in the lap pool that go out to the main drain. And we come on down the siphon and then down another 60 feet to where we can visualize the pipe after that. So what they'll have to do is they'll go in and they'll scrape it all out, make sure it's all cleaned out, suck everything out, clean it, and go ahead and reseal it. Now that's, you know, based on our videos that we've had, the testing that we did, we know we have leaks down there. It's not gonna guarantee that that's the only leak. That's the lowest leak, but then you gotta figure out, pull it back up. Like I said, when we tested it last year, the gutter part of it, once it got past the gutter, we have 24 hours, it dropped maybe 5 inches after the gutter, then it only went down like a 1/4 inch. So we knew where the metal hits the concrete, that there were some leaks in that area, and then it just kept on going down after that. Once we plugged it, we knew it wasn't, that's when we tested to make sure it wasn't in the returns and stuff like that, because it's still, we turn the returns off, and it's still leaked out. So that's why we kind of know, we know this is it, some of the area. So we figure if we go ahead and seal up this area that we can't see, then we can visualize the rest of it thereafter. Mary and I talked also about, you know, if we're gonna redo the lap pool or the baby pool, maybe go ahead and change the filter system instead of having it run 300 feet backwards, to have it right all, everything up close. Then have a little bit more control that way. Let's see, I think Continent, Shamrock, we haven't heard back yet from anyone as far as what we can do.
Yeah, Randy and I met with the pool commission people last night to sort of discuss this and discuss some of the options. You know, one of the options being, I called Jeff Bloom, is the head of the pool management company that's going to be taking over the management down there, to get the name of a company that would that installs filtration systems and does that kind of work. Because it was suggested at the meeting last night, and I mean, you can chime in on this, that we explore these options before we dump $50,000 into patching old pipe. I mean, to me, this looks like, you know, you've got to look at this, because we don't even know. This is less than 25% of the total pipe circle for that pool. That you know, that it could be 50 grand this year and another 25 next year or something like that. We have to look at abandoning that system to that pool and get a new filtration system for that pool, and then that could link up to the baby pool when that's replaced. I don't know how much is that going to cost. That could be anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know how long the baby pool's gonna last.
Right.
I will tell you this, we had our pool commission meeting, and it's simply unsustainable right now how we're running the pool. I mean, last year, it could have been, the number I keep coming up with is to cost us $200,000 to have the pool last year. And so we're gonna put $53,000 into fixing a portion of it that we don't know is it. We don't know what the life what the life expectancy is of the rest of the pool. So the pool group committee hasn't been agreeable to adding outside people. I mean, they want to keep race modest, and I agree with that, because there's apartment owners and apartment renters that go there. So I agree with all that. So we requested from them, we want a master plan, and we need to decide what is a pool worth to us. Because if we want a pool and we don't want to raise the rates and we don't want to put any more scrutiny on the pool commission to do other things, we're going to have to say, we need to put aside $100,000 a year to operate it. Because I think there's no money moving forward. It's not like there's a budget for maintenance and repair. There's not. So we have to decide philosophically what the pool means to us and when we do it. We're going to look at privatizing it. You know, can we privatize it on our terms? You know, do we do a tax levy for pools? You know, a 1 mil tax levy is $165,000, which would be about what the pool would need every year. So it's a bigger discussion, and I will tell you, you know, maybe this conversation should have happened 5 years ago, but I think we kind of agreed last night that we would put $54,000 on here, not necessarily for the leak. because it's costing us $8,000 to $10,000 worth of water a year based upon the water we're losing.
Well, that's not all leakage, because, I mean, we are buying water for the pool.
Right.
Yeah, so
And we don't know where the water's
we
going.
don't know where the water's going, which is another.
So which is a concern.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're buying time here, I think is simply what we're doing. We have the third party coming in that's going to run the pool. My hope is that will alleviate the maintenance department from a lot of what they have to do down there. They're going to third party contract the concessions. The concessions lost money, a lot of money. And concessions shouldn't lose money. So I think that's supposed to be finalized by mid-March. So I think that will turn things around. You know, they're talking about marketing and getting their membership up. If you look at our attendance, is about 1/3 of what it used to be, and really a half of what it was in 2016. So clearly, you know, costs are going up, it's deteriorating, membership's going down, and everything's okay. So
But I don't want to belabor it. Where are the people going?
sports mall.
club.
The sports club, okay.
I believe even some people are going to like the Terrace Park.
And those are all private.
Yeah.
What's interesting
Yeah.
is you can't find a municipal pool to compare, you know, to compare
Yeah.
notes with, because they're all private. And
Sharonville.
Sharonville's public. Okay. So we have to decide, and this is something I wasn't, you know, do we put aside 50,000, if we decide that we want to provide that amenity to the 20% of the residents that use it, then we have to decide what we do. Because, you know, I'm looking at these numbers, every time I look at it, I find something else, and it's simply not sustainable. Unless we say, oh, yeah, we're okay with this.
Well, unless we say, but I think unless we get residents to say. I mean, we have to get the other 80% of the residents that are out there, are they willing to in some way support this, you know, as a valued amenity to this village?
Well, this is great you guys are doing this work, and I think the key is, like you just said, the master plan too. So what's it gonna take to make this a sustainable thing? It's not sustainable now, so what's the plan gonna be so that the pool is in good shape and you're not continuing to, you know, shovel money
Well,
into it?
I can guarantee you this.
We're not gonna like to hear the answer to
They
that.
got quite
Well,
a
we
wish
gotta know.
list
We gotta
going
know
down
what that
there,
is.
you know, of what they would like to do, you know, including changing out the baby pool, you know, paint and remodeling and all this kind of stuff. I think for the issue right here and now, though, is I think Randy and I tried to make this clear to him last night. If we say, okay, you got the 53,000 or 54,000, whatever the number 54,000, and you know, you spend, you know, 5 of it on paint and some of it on the trophy wall, and you end up with only 40 grand left or something like that. And then suddenly you decide, hey, maybe we ought to patch these pipes. Sorry, there's no more money.
Yeah. Well, and I liked your idea a lot, Bill, too, about checking it, just changing where those pipes run. I think the different filtration system makes a lot of sense before we go plunk any money down on the pipes to say.
We need a long-term answer.
Yeah,
You know, we don't
long-term
need-
But so there's the big master plan, but then I think right in this situation, there's you know, A or B. Fix the pipe, or maybe just change the pipe
The new
configuration of
filtration
the
system, yeah, I mean, that can be an interim step. I mean, you can get that in place, abandon the old pipe work, and then that can be hooked to the baby pool later down the road, you know, all that kind of stuff, yeah. So,
But I think that makes sense to get the answer
It's a
to
good
that
idea,
too
yeah.
before we sit there.
well, I
and
got
say,
that, like I
yes,
said, I got the name of a company, a guy that runs the company that does that kind of work, from Jeff Lowe. So that's where we are.
Can Shamrock do any stuff, or that's not really their bailiwick?
The filter thing is not, I talked with Rob,
Shamrock, Rob.
Shamrock Rob, and no, they don't necessarily do that, the filter work per se. They
Some other
know how to
people
run the
do.
maintenance on them or something like that if you want them to do that, but they don't install.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
And Randy, we'll revisit this, but that 165 was an operating deficit that didn't include capital improvements.
No, operating, they were about even. They were really close.
Okay.
The 165 is between general fund and permanent improvement. Those
Thank
two.
you.
it was all the big stuff, you know, the paint, the roof, the fence,
Mm-hmm.
the concrete.
There's a
Fence.
lot.
Tree, yeah, the new
Trees.
fence.
There's a lot last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the pool looks great. It really looks, it really looks great.
Yeah.
But, you know, clearly, the path we're on is not, it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
They've done a great job, but there's some hard decisions that have to be made.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to leave the 54 in there for whatever type of activity?
I think that to operate the pool so that we don't lose it, you know, until we come up with a plan, I think that's what we're gonna need.
No, it's the economics. I got the memberships.
Okay, then, Randy, the Centennial Committee, 50,000 you asked me to put on here.
Yeah, since, that is, and I don't know, most of you have seen some of our work and some of the things that we've done, or are planning on doing. This is, as far as the 50,000, it's really gateway signage is a big part of it. Signage around the village is a big part of it. And I've really, Leah and I haven't even connected on this, is this summer to go through the parks and, you know, and what needs to be done, because you could do an assessment for every park, which I hope we can, our goal is to get that done early. Okay, what do we need, what kind of capital do we need for this? And I believe that, certainly that will be at least $50,000 a year between all those projects. The other thing is, we've already gotten some very significant support for the Centennial from some private foundations, and most of them do like the municipalities to have a skin in the game as well.
Oh, sure.
So that's a big part of this, is, I mean, whether or not, I mean, that makes sense or not, but that's a big part of it as well.
Is any of that going to go to painting the lampposts? Or is that,
Well,
is that a separate thing?
We're gonna, you know, we're gonna meet this week about some funding for the lamppost. I know that.
I want to paint the lampposts,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
does Randy.
Yeah, I would tell you that we still need, it's complicated. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yes.
You know, this happens for instance, I'm trying to get funding to get switch to LED. And it's the Duke Foundation that provides that funding, but you have to be a municipality, it's a 501(c)(3) to do that, which we're not.
Well,
So
we're on the
we're
way.
working
though.
on that.
We're on the way.
We're on the way.
Yeah, I've already
So
made.
I'd like to be able to do all that at once, you know. We met with Kevin, and a lot of the lamps are yellow. I mean, if you notice it, a lot of them really look awful.
Oh, they're horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are $500 each.
The
Because there's a
globes.
limited market, the globes are $500 each, so to assess that and assess what it needs. The other thing is there'll be a big private fundraising portion to the Centennial, and one of the things we're including is to be, for residents to sponsor a lamppost.
Yeah,
A historic lamppost.
Right.
For instance, I will agree to do the one that's in front of Nancy Becker's house, because I look at it all the time, and I'm sure, I've already had 5 or 6 residents come up to me and say, yeah, I'll do it, tell me what it is, so.
Yes, have I. I've
So
had
I
two.
think, yeah, so I think that once we start all that, I really think the
I think
momentum
we
will
can get
build.
some momentum going, yeah.
But yes, part of that would
Well,
be.
you know,
that.
especially, I mean, if we get a dozen or so of them painted, so people can really see the
We get
transformation.
some, I think we get some momentum, I think.
Yeah, it'll
Well,
be
the ones in
really
the square are
good.
painted, so.
Well, the ones in square, yeah, but people, those aren't historic, you know what I mean, per se, and.
You don't really, you just
Yeah,
drive
they're all-
them through, you
yeah.
don't really notice.
It's the older charming ones that really, you know, we want to do. Well, we want to do all of them. And how many are there, Randy? There are
240.
240.
Because
Wow.
like 200 are Dukes.
Yeah.
That's where the discrepancy is, that a lot of them are Dukes.
And then there's 3 styles, John? The pendant,
So
the,
you got a pendant, you got the regular candle, and then you have the Cobra type. So,
Yeah.
But the cover are mostly in the square, right?
and up Murray Avenue, yeah, so around.
Oh, okay.
So,
It's 120,000. 500.
well, I think Peyton will be maybe 200 each for the smaller ones, I don't.
For the small
We
ones.
have to get that guy in, you know.
For the small,
you
for
know,
the small ones, yeah.
offer him get a group discount.
Don't,
And then the signage too, I've got, and I can send all this to you, there's so much different signage out there. And Tom Gilmore, it was interesting, I had coffee with him and I showed him, he says, well, that's San, you know, he knew every one of them. He said, well, that's not appropriate for signage, so he's working on updating what the lettering and all that looks like. And John, I haven't talked to you or Ben or anybody about, or Kevin about this, but we'll all get together and put together a strategy of what the signage looks like. I mean, you look at the Mary Emery Park with tennis, that sign's awful. You know, there's some signs that are really awful, so put together a strategy of that. They don't have to, when I've talked to my artist friends, they don't think it needs to all be the same necessarily, but there needs to be some connection.
Some continuity to it.
Some
Yeah.
continuity.
Yeah, okay.
So that's part of it.
I have a question. Are you going to do signs for the Centennial? Are you going to start planning on, you know, like signs that we can start putting up just to remind people that it's coming up
Yeah.
in the next year or so? And
Yeah, we've got a logo, we're real close to getting that finalized. We've got a tagline, so there's a lot has been accomplished. And the idea is we want to update the gateway signage to the village. And those of you, anybody in urban development, it's critical. They always talk about gateway signage and do you know you're in Mariemont? And I think people know, generally know they're in Mariemont, but I think we can do a little better. We've looked at, there was a couple graduate projects on that, but they were really modern. So my guess is that we're not going to really change that sign that you see, because that was original,
Yeah.
from the beginning of the village. But I think we're going to look at updating that, and then updating the signage, and then adding a plaque or something on the signage for the centennial.
Okay.
Now, how long those stay up after centennial? Because what we've talked about, we always refer to this as a prologue to the next centennial, because we realized we're not going to finish this stuff by 2023. It's not going to happen. But if we started and the amphitheater gets done in the next 3 years, 5 years, whatever, I think that's what we're saying. We're saying this is what is going to take us in the next centennial.
This is like the kickoff.
This is like the
Everything,
kickoff.
Yeah.
Is there some thought into, like, when they had the Porsche rally, putting all the signs up? The banners.
Yeah, we could.
I mean, that's.
We've got a flag that we've come up with, but we.
But like they put them on the lampposts and whatnot.
Okay, hey, guys, we need to.
All right, sorry,
When you
sorry.
pick up
We're
here just a
designing
teeny
it.
bit, because we need to get through.
All right, so that's what that's for.
Okay.
Wow.
The last thing is the tennis court resurfacing.
Tennis
Tony?
court, resurfacing. Rob, you got any comments on that?
Now, Linda's got a couple, she's gotten one quote, and it's more than 35. She's still waiting for the other people. She was getting 2 other people to get quotes too, so I don't know.
Well, is that a good number to leave in?
It's low, probably.
Low.
Again, the one quote we do have is more like 50.
And is that something?
John, do you remember how much it cost last time? We've done
This is
So
resurfacing.
this is totally different.
Oh, it's totally
than-
different. Okay.
Yeah, this is not the patch.
Right.
Okay. So we haven't done this in how many years?
I don't know, it's
Okay.
like 10 or something.
And we're doing it this year.
Well, I don't know. Again, maybe not, if we can't afford to. I gotta get more costs, well, not me, but my lovely wife will.
Okay. So that's a maybe
You also
number.
did that because you're on tape.
Wow, she must be watching.
The light of my life.
Oh, gosh, here we go.
My better half,
Here we
yeah.
go.
So we should keep 35, or should we bump it up a little bit?
I would bump it up for now, and we may not be able to do it, that's the thing we have to decide. And maybe we just patch them again this year and try to hold off and see what happens, I don't know.
Do we have any idea of what patching would cost?
Yeah, well, patching's covered in the operating budget, actually, because last year we put it in for the operating budget. I
That's
don't know
right.
if it actually got charged there or not, but patching is like about 5,000 or 6,000,
Right.
just to patch the courts. But the patching is not lasting any longer. It's now, those things are getting, the courts are getting humped up where the cracks are, and you can actually walk on it and feel.
But I would guess there's a point of diminishing returns.
Yeah, until eventually then you gotta just strip, you gotta
So
strip it down and
you
redo
just
it.
gotta find that break-even point, or.
Yeah, because again, it's not lasting the whole year now. The patching's not lasting the whole year, so. It's already shot before the end of the year. They usually do it in the, springtime.
Can't you just play around it?
Yeah, that ball kicks up and pops you in the face.
Dodgeball tennis?
You already knocked it down to pickleball, Bill, come on.
Right, they just shrink the cords
All
more.
right, so say 40 or 45 there.
That's fine, yeah, you make up whatever,
All right.
that's good.
We'll just add 5 there.
Well, yeah, make it 40?
Yeah.
I'm just keeping tabs over here.
Well, but you said the one bid is 50,
Yeah, but
right?
if we can't do it, we just have to push it off to next year, I guess, then.
So, let's just go 50 then.
Yeah, if that's what it
If that's
costs.
a known bid, then.
That is a known
Well,
bid.
and if we get that, or get our, 501c3 in place, we may be able to get donations
Yeah.
from people who are using them. We might even be able to get something from the schools.
They usually do, they contribute. They buy
They
like windscreens and they go in on the nets and stuff like that. We've tried to ask them for more stuff in the past and they said, hey, we're already doing this and this, and they're drawing. That's the boosters. We go to the boosters.
But they use the courts.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
And they don't get charged a fee to use the courts every year?
No, so there's a history here, so, yeah, there was an agreement that was drawn up that was never implemented, so, it's been just going on this way we go to them and say, can you help cover some of these costs, and they do, so, yeah.
Okay.
So, like I said, we go to the boosters, we don't actually go to the school, we go to the boosters.
All right, so we already talked about the boathouse, down to the infrastructure. I just threw in there 5 for sidewalks and curbs. We see the spend. at least that every year, I don't know. And then, the streets in excess of the street fund, so we get about $200,000 in the street fund, and, you know, some of that 40-50 goes for lighting, and, I don't know that we have any major street repairs this year that would exceed, what goes into that fund, Kelly?
Well,
You guys
that's
talk
gonna be
about
part
it?
of the meeting that we do.
Yeah.
Because we got, what do we got? We only got 2,000, but we should be getting like 200,000 in there, it
Yeah.
looks like.
Yeah, we should be getting about 200,000 in the street fund, and then, like I said, I don't know, it's probably more like 30,000.
It uses up our.
So there's 170 in there, Kelly, just so you know.
Right.
That's not.
Plus, whatever the beginning balance was, which wasn't much,
It's a different fund.
It's a different fund. Gotcha, okay. That's what I was.
2017 in the state highway. Okay.
So yeah, the street's gonna be a separate process from this then, right?
Yeah. So I'm not putting anything in there, not assuming that we're gonna exceed whatever's in the street fund,
Right,
okay?
well, we can't.
Okay. All right. And then Eli says we need some computers, so $6,000 for that, and then,
This is super minor, we don't have to go into it, but what's the turnover for our computers? Because it might not belong in the capital budget.
3 to 5 years,
If it's 5 years, then it does, but that seems pretty long for a computer. I'll just take a look at it, right? I'm assuming 3 is the capital budget max for for an investment. It just might make sense to put in the operating budget.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that.
Okay. But it doesn't have to be this year,
I
just,
think we have like a set dollar amount for, like a minimum, like I know the IRS is $2,500. You can just expense it and don't have to worry about it. So maybe we just go with that amount. So yeah, these computers could go through operating man.
So that's out.
Some budget's gonna take it.
yeah.
All right, we'll take those out.
All right.
And
Are we
then
taking
Bill,
out the police one then too and just charge that? as an
yeah,
expense?
we'll just take that out of there.
On the computer, you mean?
Yeah, we'll pay for it still, just pay it out of
Yeah,
that.
that's fine.
Yeah.
operating budget. So-
Now, if we get like a new server and all that kind of stuff, then.
That's different, yeah.
Okay, Bill, admin building remodel, real quick.
Yeah, I know I've been talking about doing this, since the last 2 years, and I have to start doing something, starting with the front doors on this building. We have to replace the front doors on the building. We need painting, we need roof work, we need gutter work. I'd love to be able to freshen the offices, so, I didn't use the money last year, but this year I really am gonna dip into this. I have to.
Yeah, I think, I agree with you, there are some elements that do have to happen. I think it would, similar to the pool, I think it would be good if we have sort of a master plan as well about, okay, how do we make sure you get the maximum utilization out of all the space in the building, right?
Well, I know we had
Is
that
this
discussion
building
about
fully,
moving.
I'm sorry to interrupt,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Is this building fully depreciated?
There's no depreciation
There's
in
no-
here, it's all
We
cash.
just,
cash
all-
basis.
everything gets expensed, it's just cash basis.
Yeah.
Okay. So essentially, we don't, okay. No, that makes,
But I do think, Bill, there's some stuff, the doors, and
Yeah.
but I do think there's a need to have similarly a master plan about, okay, how do we make the
Yeah.
most use out of the space that we got here,
Well, like I
I
said.
know you talked to Bob.
I've talked to Bob Rich about that, we have had that discussion. But some of the stuff that I'm talking about within this budget essentially is just a refresh. That no matter what, even if you repurposed it and moved offices around, you still basically have to do a refresh. And I'm just talking, paint.
Yeah, but paint, well,
carpet.
but paint doesn't cost
Carpet.
$56,000.
No, but carpet, lighting
Nice
fixtures.
space for the ladies to work in.
The new door on the front, probably gonna cost $5,000.
No, so again, doors and stuff like that, but I think there's space, because I feel sorry for how crammed in they are all up there in the village
Yeah.
office. And so
Yeah.
again, is there an opportunity to do some things that creates more space for the people?
Potentially, yes.
So that's what I'm asking for, is like, just think about that.
In the existing building?
All the building.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All the building.
Yeah. Oh, I got you, okay, yeah.
Let's think about how we can better utilize, to be honest, again, the tax office was built back when we had 2 people in that tax office. And now, we got 1 person, and so is there something we can be doing to try and help create more
Well, like I
space?
said, we have had that discussion, and, there are certain privacy
Sure.
issues that have to be observed there.
Sure.
You know,
But there's also the back office that's, can close the door and have all the privacy and stuff like that too.
So, well,
So I just,
it's
before
a
we go
little more-
spend significant money,
Yeah, well,
I'd wanna say, you know, the doors, yeah, I get that,
Yeah.
things like that, some paint, but I really wanna think about how can we help the space usage for the
Mm-hmm.
village office and not just put new carpeting in there, you know?
well,
That's, I think.
we're we're talking about it.
Is,
Yeah, yeah.
is this building one of the classified landmarks, this particular building?
Is it a design, I think it is, yes.
So it's part of
Yeah.
our
Yeah,
designated,
I think it is.
because there might be grant.
1,000 plus things that are called out in
Yeah.
I mean, so,
Yeah.
and I think it predates 1968 or whatever.
Yeah, it was built in 63.
1960.
Yeah, so,
They knew that was built.
so I'm just wondering,
It's old, it's old.
you know, is there grant money?
Yeah,
because
no.
it's- As a
Watch it.
historic,
I think that's a great idea, yeah, grant, I mean, we should be looking
It's
for grant
just
money
a
too.
spring, it's just, it's not very
Just a
old.
puppy.
Yeah.
So do we wanna knock that down a little bit for just on some kind of maintenance type stuff?
Well, I mean, maintenance kind of stuff, like I said, some of this could really add up. And like I said, I didn't touch it last year, so, you know, I prefer to keep that number pretty much, you know, kind of where it
Part
is.
of
I'm
the
not saying it's all
centennial?
gonna get spent, but,
Huh?
Yeah, again,
I mean,
for me,
you're
to
asking
be honest,
big anyhow.
for me, I agree with the other stuff. Before we put significant dollars down, I wanna make sure we look at how can we help the village office with space.
yeah,
Not just making it look nicer, but how do we help give them more space?
right, right.
And I think Marcia's got a great idea about looking for grant money too, to help cover some of these
Yeah.
costs.
Yeah, if we can find it, yeah, for sure. All right.
that Hamilton County thing, she talked about, there's a historical grant. Remember when she came in?
Right.
So,
Okay,
Tony.
so,
I can reach out to
so I guess we'll
Beth
leave that
Thornburg
there
and ask her.
for
She would
now,
know.
and then,
She's a historic
then we always have these,
preservation specialist.
auditor fees that, the county takes a little bit of, state takes some of, for processing all the levies and all that kind of stuff, so.
So we're even? It's
So,
all-
so we gotta pay them, yeah, we gotta pay them. So we're at $93.8 thousand, deficit, 93.8 thousand, yeah.
I was down to 84.
I was down to 81.
I was down
Let's
to
go, Kelly.
76.
Oh,
Mercy.
wow.
We added back
So let's go, the
the,
police, we still got
We took out 6 for the computers.
51.5.
Yeah.
Seven for computers, I thought, because we're taking out
Yeah,
1,000.
but- yeah, just let him go through this, he's going through
All right,
everything.
50
That's right.
51.5 for the police, 17.5 for fire paramedics. Maintenance, I got 140.
What?
I added,
Wait.
I bumped up the truck from 90, what'd I say,
Oh.
107 to 110, John said.
110.
So you got both, wait, so you've got,
both.
instead of 107, you've got one, what?
110.
10.
But the trees we knocked down to 5 and we knocked the sewers down to 15, right?
One-
Yes,
115.
and boathouse leaks at 10.
Ah, the
Oh,
boathouse
the
leaks.
boathouse leaks.
Got it.
All right, and the swim pool, 54, Centennial, 50, tennis, 50, 5 for sidewalk curbs, 56 for this building, 5 for auditor fees.
And you say that puts us at negative what?
Negative 93.8. So 429 would be the total spend, and we only have 335 available.
And
1,
auditor
2.
fees should be in capital too.
Well, it has to come out of this fund for sure.
Okay. Because it's just
Yeah,
auditing this
yeah,
fund, yeah.
For the fund, that always seems-
But does it? Auditor fees don't seem like a capital expense.
Well, it's just by fund, like.
Yeah.
So it's,
It's an annual,
yeah, it's an annual fee.
okay.
that we pay. Well, they actually take it before they send it to us, so we don't even get it.
Okay.
It's for the levies and stuff.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
So, John, how bad do you need that truck?
Sure, always take it to the step.
Bad.
So quickly, if the pool, if the, let's say 54,000 fixes the pool, you find that out. Does it have to be expended in 21? Or 22, whatever year we're in?
No, we don't have to spend it this year.
Well, I mean, you're right, we wouldn't have to patch the leaks, but I mean, then to sort of convince them that they're not gonna spend any money on anything else, that'd be a hard sell.
No, yeah, it might not be that it's a zero line item, but I'm just saying, I don't want to take that off the table for the pool, but could it be patched in early '23? Because it's not going to be patched for this season. It's not going to be fixed for this season.
I think you're targeting.
They're trying to
I
get it
think
patched
they-
for
yeah.
this season.
Yeah,
Oh, they're trying to fix it all for this season?
April, yeah. March,
Okay.
April.
No.
So we're trying to figure out what's wrong with it, and
We
then.
know what's wrong, we know what's wrong with part of it. I mean,
Part of it.
they've done the exam,
Yeah.
they've done the camera
Okay.
shoot, and everything like that, yeah.
Got it.
Well, it seems like the ones that we have more choices around, again, the police car, we don't have a choice around really, and some of that other stuff. It seems like the ones you have choices around that you could take a haircut on would be, no offense, Randy, but the Centennial Committee, the tennis court resurfacing, the admin building remodeling, you could maybe dial some of those down.
And we can always use general fund money for whatever we want to use it for, if you want to spend it on.
Well, you could
permanent
use the
improvement.
ARPA money for
And,
this.
yep, that as well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, money can be moved over here,
Well, no, you'd actually move these charges into the ARPA
or just,
account.
Yeah.
okay, do it that way then, yeah. I thought money could be moved out of the general fund into this fund, you can't do that?
No, you can do that too.
You
but
can do
Might
that?
as well, we got the ARPA fund,
Uh-huh.
ARPA money, might as well use that up
Is that-
first,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
That's what, 184?
Yep,
Balance right now, and we're gonna get another
and
hundred.
we're gonna get another 184 this year.
No cuts.
We can use it for pretty much whatever we want at this point.
Could we move 93 of it over
could.
here and?
You could.
Mhm.
Because it says, there's stuff like infrastructure. Tony, I sent Tony a thing that shows the description of some of these things.
I mean, if you're going to invest, it might be right before the centennial is the good time to invest. In getting the courts up and running, getting the building looking good.
Yeah, yeah, cleaned up, yeah.
Everything looks good for the centennial year.
Yeah, that's a good selling point.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You want to use one-time funds for something.
Let's do it.
So we're gonna use
Let's do it.
we're gonna use the ARPA funds, is that what you're saying?
That's what we're saying.
Part of
Okay.
Well,
All
yeah,
right, let's
we
clean
need,
this
It's either that or John's truck.
No, you can make cuts in some of these other things too.
Okay.
I agree
Look,
with
he
you,
needs
Rob.
that truck, I can tell, I'm telling you, I've driven that old truck.
No, I agree, that's what I'm saying.
that's
Use
what's
other
wrong
things.
I
with
use my feet for brakes.
Fred Flintstone, huh?
Okay.
I mean, with respect to the remodeling of the building, I mean, could we do the things that need to be done and then kind of approach a long-term plan?
Of course, yes,
You know,
some
so
some
we-
of the things are immediate and I have to do them.
Yeah.
But I mean,
No,
so
I
could-
agree.
Agree with
but-
that.
So could we, but
Yeah.
could we cut that number by somewhat?
Yeah, we could probably cut that number by somewhat, yeah. Yeah, and if I get, I mean,
Well,
if we move forward, I need more money, I'll just come in here and ask for it.
Well, and that's when we can use the ARPA funds, but, when we have something more defined. Again, again, I want you to make sure I understand. I'm totally with you that on the stuff we gotta do, like the doors and things like that, yeah, gotta do that.
Yeah.
But a larger plan takes some time to pull together and things like that, and so, and once that's pulled together, bring it here, we can vote on it, and if necessary, you can use the ARPA funds for that, because that's actually listed as one of the things you can do it on, is
Yeah,
administrative
no, I'm
buildings.
totally good with that, yeah, that's fine,
So,
yeah.
All right, so things that totally need to get done, 20 grand?
So is it a municipal
Yeah,
fund
at
and not
least,
fund
yeah.
depreciation?
Okay, I'll leave 25 in.
Yeah.
So I'll
yeah,
take
let's just,
out-
we have it.
That feels weird.
Just say 25, okay. So we're down to 62.8. Okay, and as we go through the year, if we need to use some ARPA funds, we can move it over.
Okay.
Who knows what may or may not get done, so.
So you'll update that and send it out to everybody, so we
Yes.
all have the latest version, latest and greatest?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'll
Thank
send it to Joni, Joni will,
Can I take the last minute on sewers really quickly? Is there a place to understand what the state of our sewers is, in fact?
It's also part of the Public Works meeting next week.
Okay, so we have that information?
No.
No, but
No,
we're working
okay.
on
We're
getting,
talking about getting that information.
Okay, 'cause I was gonna say, it's
getting
not,
that information is very expensive.
yeah, I bet. I was just
so we
curious.
do know that our sewers are they're pretty old, I mean,
Yeah.
they're falling apart.
Yeah,
so
the
we
last
gotta-
figure we got was $150 per 100 feet of pipe.
Just to inspect it? Is it? Okay.
So that was a low number for the sewers.
Well,
But,
this is the, no, this is a quote. This is a quote to get this, the water, that.
Yeah.
That's John's estimate, just to patch stuff as it
Just
pops
to
up, right,
patch.
John? The 15,000 you had for sewers?
Yeah, it was just for one sewer.
for
So-
Cherry from ball fields.
Okay.
Okay, guys, we're gonna have to adjourn
Okay.
here.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you,
I'll send this out to everybody.
That is a big
Okay.
one.
I know we're supposed to start that next meeting in about 30 seconds, but if anyone wants to make a
Yes, please.
facilities run,
I'm gonna try to get documents up.
I guess we're gonna have another year, I think.
I'm sorry.
Hey, Randy, you don't have.